Thank you for joining this Unified Communications webinar hosted by MiRO. This is our agenda for today. So I love starting off with a little bit of a history. It just allows us to zoom out and kind of see where the roadmaps come from. You know, where did this brand begin its journey and how has it progressed through the timeline? You know, because a lot of what happens in the first 5 or 10 years of a company is that they go through some turbulent times and then they fail. You know, whereas good companies, even great companies, are able to withstand those turbulent times, you know, the increase in competition or the changes in the economic environments, and they're able to withstand all of that and to keep pushing forward. So Grandstream has been around since 2002. So it's an 18-year-old. You know, the brand has come of age. It is now a fully functional adult, but it obviously had to start somewhere. So we'll look at a bit of the history around Grandstream. We'll look at, to date, where is Grandstream in the unified communications ecosystem? What are they currently doing, and how really do they manifest and articulate their UC offering? Then we'll look at basically how Grandstream is creating opportunities for industry verticals, because as you'll see throughout the timeline is that Grandstream is no longer just a VoIP brand or, you know, the phone company. They now are offering full end-to-end solutions for verticals, because at the end of the day, that's where we work, guys. We work in verticals like telecommunications, we work in the residential, the hospitality, the logistics, or the educational vertical. And to know that one brand can be your full end-to-end solution is hugely valuable, because you just invest in a very single directional stream of technology advancements and development of your own skills. And then we'll look at the partner program. I'll talk a little bit about the beta testing club, and then we'll discuss the product roadmap moving forward. All right, cool, guys. So this is a little bit of a timeline of connectivity, if you will. So as you can see, Grandstream came out with their first IP phone and an ATA. Now, what is an ATA? ATA is an analog telephone adapter. So you guys can imagine, back in 2002, the dot-com boom had literally just began. The internet was not necessarily a big thing. So manufacturers that were coming out with, you know, VoIP products or IP phones, you know, they were deemed as maybe a technology that had arrived too early, but not for Grandstream. At the end of the day, they stuck to their guns. They developed their first IP phone and an analog telephone adapter because they had the vision to see where the industry was going, where technology was moving, and they basically decided on keeping their main economic drivers, being their IP phones and their analog telephone adapters, as their main heartbeat, so they could develop other really cool, innovative products. And I tell you what, guys, to this day, Grandstream will confirm, and even MiRO can confirm based off of our external sales, that we sell most IP phones and ATAs. And that's just because they have stuck to their guns, they have focused on those products, and they have made them better and better and better without trying to change them too much. And then, so as you can see, once they realized that they were onto something, that they were developing some decent technology, around about 2005, they came out with the first IP video phone. A few years later, they brought out some SIP surveillance products. Now that at that stage was quite revolutionary, because, you know, SIP and OnViv were considered two separate protocols completely. But what Grandstream did was that they innovated and they created a SIP surveillance revolution that, you know, kind of catapulted them further into being a bit more of a horizontally based company, not just focusing on, you know, phones, for instance. Now they were branching out into video. And as you guys all know, UC is voice video data. And by the time we reached 2017, they would have completed the full cycle, the full ecosystem. So by 2012, they had their next big breakthrough, which was their IP PBX, commonly known as the UCM. And anyone on this webinar that has had the privilege of utilizing one of these PBXs knows how great the product is, what value it offers, and the incredible price that it's also offered at. You know, a large part of my job is obviously looking at the market and looking at what competitors there are. And I have to say, guys, you know, from an unbiased perspective, Grandstream offers the lowest cost, highest spec on-site PBX in the market for its version. So if you look at the 6202. It comes included with 500 SIP accounts. It has the ability to do 50 concurrent calls. It has all the TLS encryption that you need. And it goes for about 3,500, 4,000 Rand. And that's hugely valuable. And then obviously, as we progress to larger and larger applications, we then obviously get different models. But the UCM has been a huge cornerstone in Grandstream's communication revolution. But obviously, that was not the end. So 3 years later, they then developed their first video conferencing device. Now, I'm a big fan of Grandstream's video conferencing. And as you can see, 2015, 2016, it was their development of video conferencing and their first WebRTC platform. So just for anyone who might not know, what we're currently utilizing is a WebRTC platform. So this is IP Video Talk. It's a click-to-join web-based conferencing platform. And the nice thing about it is that it is extremely easy to use, but it was developed in-house by Grandstream. And like I said, guys, nothing's better than being able to utilize your own products to market and to sell these specific products. So we've just recently installed one of Grandstream's video conferencing servers at our head office, not the MiRO head office, the Hudeco head office. So, you know, as difficult as these times have been, it's also, you know, put a lot of urgency onto communication, not just for executives, but for staff members as well. And from what we've seen is that, you know, the likes of Zoom and House Party and all of these additional conferencing platforms, they've seen huge spikes because at the end of the day, people still need to communicate, people still need to collaborate. And as anyone knows, joining this webinar, it's extremely easy. It was literally just an invite that was sent to your Outlook. You then click to join, and basically we're here. So Grandstream, I'll speak about it later when we talk about their conferencing platform and the devices that they have. But utilizing IP Video Talk over the backbone of Grandstream hardware is, again, guys, it's hugely valuable. So I'll just provide a little bit of an example. So when our dear president came out with the national state of disaster, this was before the lockdown was commenced, but basically the guys at our head office understood that they had a responsibility to play by, you know, not being part of the problem. And being part of the problem is being that entity that is able to just move throughout society and to maybe catch the virus or to pass it on to someone. So they decided, no, they're going to do social distancing properly. So they're going to use IP Video Talk's cloud software, and they were going to host their board meeting, their first board meeting on this platform. And I won't lie, guys, I was slightly nervous because, you know, my brand's at risk, my reputation was at risk. But at the end of the day, it went smoothly. We had the guys from head offices in their office in Germiston utilizing the Grandstream GBC camera. We then had my management team at our head office utilizing the GBC camera. And then we had the financial director at his home connecting via the application on his phone. And at the end of the day, guys, they were able to get their messages across, and they were able to speak openly about what was currently happening, not just in the market, but in their businesses and how they were going to respond to all of this corona madness that has been going on. So just getting back to the timeline of connectivity is that in 2016, they developed their first Wi-Fi access point. Now, we were skeptical originally because we thought to ourselves, why are these phone guys getting into the Wi-Fi business? But at the end of the day, what they've developed is a very impressive Wi-Fi access point. So impressive that it caused a little bit of a ruckus within our own Wi-Fi portfolio, to the extent that all of the product managers who had Wi-Fi brands had to get together and really segment our products. And I believe that Grandstream was the champion of that activity because it came out that Grandstream in our whole MiRO Wi-Fi portfolio was our lowest cost, highest spec AP, which means that you don't get a lower costed, higher performing access point in any of the products that we sell, which is awesome, guys. I mean, you know, when I launched the Wi-Fi offering, again, you know, I didn't know if it was necessarily going to be as successful, but Grandstream was sticking to their vision. And now we sell around about 100 of their Wi-Fi access points each month, which is awesome numbers from doing 0 to, starting over 100, definitely means that there's an opportunity there to develop further, because sometimes what one brand does is exactly the same as another brand, but they just do it in a bit more of a simple form. And what I've loved about Grandstream being their product manager has been seeing their simplicity and their ease of use. And I really, really do admire the brand. And then, lastly, moving into 2017, they developed their first IP door phones. Now, these door phones are basically access control devices that are SIP enabled, and they allow for the entering and exiting of establishments, utilizing an input and output that can open and close doors, booms, and gates, and everything like that. Okay, so just checking if you have any questions. No, guys, thank you very much. Again, like I say, it's awesome to have you all here. I'm super pumped up. So let's go to our next slide. So this is basically, to date, unified communications from Grandstream. Where do we stand? So when we were designing this diagram, we basically wanted it to be as explanatory as possible. And I really do believe that we have achieved that. So as you can see, that everything, whether it's facility management, telephony, gateways, conferencing, or wireless networking, everything connects to the PBX, which is the brain. It's the head end. It's the mastermind behind the whole solution. But the best thing, guys, if you'll just check that gnarly umbrella at the top there, it's all managed centrally by GDMS, which is Grandstream's device management software. And as we've progressed down the timeline, I've seen how Grandstream has focused a lot more on their management side of things, because again, you can have the highest performing product, but if it's difficult to use and difficult to manage, it's not going to see a lot of commercial success, because a lot of what our products do, guys, is that they run in the back end. So we've got our Wi-Fi access points, we've got our phones, we've got our door phones, our speakers, our intercoms. They run in the background. They don't really get the high-flying publicity of something like a smartphone or something like that you can flex off. But these products all run in the background. And as long as you, as the service provider or the person managing the system, can easily manage the entire ecosystem, then you will be able to deliver a very good service through to your customer. And what happens when you deliver good services through to customer? They normally recommend you to someone else. And that's the best way to grow your business, is to do a good job and to allow other people to recommend you through to the people that they might know. So if we just go through this, guys, as you can see, this is the complete Grandstream portfolio. So we have got facility management. Now that's intercoms and door phones. We've got regular IP voice telephony. We have VoIP gateways, everything from PSTN, PRI, FXO, FXS gateways. We've got video telephony, as you can see at the bottom of the screens. That's what they look like. We've got business conferencing, and we do both IP conferencing and web-based conferencing. At the top, we're looking at our wireless networking portfolio, where, again, we have such feature-rich products, but we've got a very small product line, and that's what I like, is that you can almost put all of Grandstream's products on a single table. And what do they have in terms of their Wi-Fi portfolio? They've got a VPN, they've got an indoor access point and an outdoor access point. And as you can see, it's all managed by GW and Cloud, which is a cloud-based software, but they are currently developing an on-premise management tool as well. So we will come back to this slide at the end of the presentation. So if anyone has any questions regarding that specific slide, just let me know, and then I'll answer them the best I can. But again, guys, for me, when I was designing this, this was the best way for me to let the market and our customers know that this is currently what Grandstream is offering, and this is why they are different from their competitors. Okay, cool, guys. So what I just wanted to touch on very quickly was the industry verticals, and why I believe that Grandstream is suited towards specific industry verticals. Because, at the end of the day, if you're not a reseller, you're basically providing solutions through to customers. And as long as you know that you can provide someone with a full end-to-end communication solutions, whether they're in residential, whether they're in hospitality or logistics, you know that you've got a product set that can do that. And again, if you know that you have one brand that does a lot of different things, then you can invest your time, your energy, your resources into developing your understanding of that brand. And that's the nice thing, is that even though Grandstream offers such nice feature-rich products, they also offer certified training that we are now doing online. So again, guys, if you're hungry for some more information, you really want to upskill yourself on some cool Grandstream equipment, let me know. We'll send out a mailer through to everyone after the webinar, just giving a bit more details about our online training. But the way that it will work is that we'll send you the manual, you'll read up on it, and then we'll host your examination whenever you're ready. And then should you pass, you get a 1-year certification. I mean, that's as good as coming through to the actual site and then getting training and then, leaving. So we do feel that online allows for us to cater to more people, and even for yourself. Just think about it. Instead of, making a decision whether you should go through to MiRO for the day, or if you can maybe sit at home, before work starts or after work starts or on the weekends, do the training, get the certification, and you do it in your own time and when you're comfortable. But we'll chat a bit more about that later. So if we just look at the residential side of things, so let's just look at a few of the products here. So obviously, as you know, guys, we need our PBX. The beautiful thing about this PBX is that it's low cost and it's feature rich. So you take our smallest unit and you've got 500 super accounts loaded. And that's already, guys, that's quite a large volume. We've only really noticed that people upsell the different series of the UCMs depending on their call volumes. So sometimes in a residential application, you won't have high call volumes because it's not necessarily a call center. You'll just have a lot of devices that might be talking to each other internally. So you're not having to split calls and everything like that. But the nice thing about, again, our UCM PBX is that it's very feature rich. So by installing one of those in the hotel's server room, you then basically open yourself up to the intercom system. So I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an application around the intercom system. So the way that this would work is that it's 2 parts, is that you could have one of these devices at the entrance to your building or your gate. And let's just say I'm going to go visit my friend David. I know that David is staying in room 232. I go up to the door phone. I go 232. It then rings his video phone that is sitting very nicely in his house. Oh, what? David's currently not in his living room. He can't hear his phone. It then redirects through to his G-Wave app. Okay, he's now in his bedroom. He's on Instagram. He can see that I'm calling him. He then can type in a password that basically unlocks the relay within the door phone that then opens the gate. Now, guys, this is hugely valuable, I believe, personally, for estates, because if anyone has gone through to a gated community or an estate, sometimes that visitors line just piles up because we're all just waiting for a security guard to phone the person that we're visiting. Instead of us just phoning the person that we're visiting, we're asking someone else to phone the person we're visiting. So we can actually create a bit of a better experience for everyone living in the estate or living in the apartment block by having one of these devices connected through to our PBX and then having multiple video devices all linked through to everyone else's room. But it doesn't end there, guys. Obviously, this is also for the residents of the apartment and or gated community. So our door phone does have a built-in RFID scanner. So that does mean that you can utilize it for access control, meaning that all of the guests or all of the residents of the apartment or block will be designated a key card that then allows for them to access their building. And again, guys, that's just simple access control features inputted with a very high-end, high-end hardware, because this specific device has got a Vandal rating of IK10, which is the top-tier Vandal rating, which means that it's going to be very difficult for someone to break that. And why would they want to break that? It doesn't make any sense. It's something that would sit internally in your wall. We do have a wall-mounted bracket, and it's basically just there to make sure that, you know, your keypad and your intercom system is hooked up through to your PBX. If we look at the top left of our screen, we've got one of our newest additions to our portfolio. We have our intercom system. Now, the intercom system is very dependent on the consumer. So who would be utilizing an intercom system? I wouldn't necessarily utilize one in my home because I don't necessarily need one. I'll just shout towards other residents of my house. But if you're in a large apartment block, or if you're in a hospital, if you're in a school, and you want to be able to directionally make announcements and everything like that, you install one of our intercom systems. This is one of these devices, and you basically install them into the roof. The very cool thing about these devices, guys, is that they do connect to Wi-Fi. If you look on the opposite ends, there's one of our access points. So apart from doing access control and the communication system and the intercom system and the Wi-Fi, you're offering a fully fledged communication solution to your customer, where you can basically do everything for them, all on the backbone of Grandstream. So if we look at the hospitality industry, again, guys, very similar products get used. Remember, at the end of the day, Grandstream's product range is as wide as the portfolio needs it to be. So if we looked at that diagram, we saw faculty management, intercom systems, and door phones all relate through to that. So I wanted to bring your attention through to this GBC device. This is our conferencing device. It's our very high-end video conferencing device. It's got 60 megapixel camera. It's got noise cancelling shield technology. The thing about this device is that roundabout when all of the madness started happening, there was obviously this whole thing of social distancing that needed to happen. So there were a lot of these devices that were sold, and we were actually caught in a bit of a situation where there was no stock from the Chinese warehouse, and we had to import from the American warehouse. And this was all due to the fact that a lot of hospitals, a certain hospital chain, had bought about 100 of these devices, because basically they needed to know if someone was sick within a testing environment, what their symptoms were, and they would need to have a very high-end video stream coming back to a live feed to their screens, so that they could know exactly what was happening inside the specific room, the testing room. They also were using it for all of their surgeries to basically limit the amount of social interaction that was happening across the board. And again, guys, the very nice thing about most of Grandstream's products, pending the door phones, is that they all have built-in radios, so they can connect through to your internal wireless network that Grandstream will obviously be the backbone of. So as you guys can see, I'll be more than happy to share this presentation with everyone, because I think it's a very nice presentation, and it's very easy to look at, and it's very explanatory. And it's also great for you to show your customers, because sometimes at the end of the day, the customer might be skeptical, and they'll say, how can it fit into a hospital? How can it fit into some apartment block? And you say, well, yeah, this is how we do it. And then you can explain how each specific product, facilitates a certain operational function. Okay, guys, let's look at logistics. So again, as you can see, there's nothing new here when it comes to products, but a big part of what makes logistics a field in which Grandstream excels at is the mobile side of the telephony. So we do have DECT devices available. We actually have a third generation of DECT devices that we've just released, the DP722 and the DP752. They've seen huge success since their inception into our market. And it's just because everyone will always have a requirement for mobile telephony. As much as we are all desk bound, when I say all, I am, the company that I work at and the job that I do requires for me to be at my desk. There are times where I need to move and I need to go collaborate, and I need to go, make coffee, for instance. Just having mobile telephony options. So if we look at the second product on the left-hand side, it's looking at a smartphone, and we're talking about GS Wave. Now, GS Wave is a soft phone application that you can load onto your mobile device that connects through to your PBX, and that can operate as your extension. So you can have an IP phone, and you can have a GS Wave application loaded on your phone, and if someone's trying to get hold for you, it will ring on your desk, and it will ring on your app. Or what you can do, how I've set it, for instance, at my work, is that it rings at my desk 3 times, and then if I'm not answering at my desk, it then phones my phone. And then I'm able to obviously answer the phone and talk to the necessary person who's trying to get hold of me. And then lastly, I just wanted to focus on this product here at the bottom. That is our Wi-Fi phone. And the best thing about this phone, guys, is that it works. I know. Can you believe it? A Wi-Fi phone that works. I think people have been bringing out, clones of these devices for the past 3 to 4 years. But, when this product was released around about a year ago, we were a bit tense. We were like, is it going to be what it needed to be? We had run our test. We were confident. We were ready to push it into the market. And then since its inception, guys, it's really, really done well. The nice thing about it is that it's dual band. So it offers 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. It's also not proprietary, meaning that you can install this Wi-Fi phone on an existing wireless network that is based off of, Cambium, Microtech, Ubiquity, any of those other third-party, Wi-Fi vendors. This product will work perfectly and integrate seamlessly onto those networks. Lastly, education. I do want to apologize about this image. We really struggled to find an appropriate education campus that really fits into what we were hoping to achieve. But this is what we got, so I hope you guys enjoyed. As you can see, guys, for any school application, we can offer mobile telephony, we can offer access control. The nice thing about our access control is that it does do time and attendance. So, when I was in school back in the day, we used to do register. And I remember as I was leaving school, they had started to introduce biometrics and starting to introduce access control. So the nice thing about our access control is that your specific RFID card can have your ID or your student number assigned to it, so that when you come to school, it basically registers what time you're entering and what time you're leaving, so that we can keep a bit of a trace on the pupil or the student that's obviously moving throughout the whole school. And then, yeah, guys, lastly, on the right-hand side, this Wi-Fi AP is our outdoor long-range access points. As I said, guys, Grandstream is very simple in how they promote their Wi-Fi products. There's an indoor Wi-Fi product, and then there's an outdoor Wi-Fi product. And this device is IP66 rated, which means that it's full dust and weatherproof resistant. Just don't go swimming with it. But yeah, it does offer a huge range. It's got some very strong DBI antennas built into it. So as you can see, we do offer a full end-to-end communication solution. There's the intercom system, because if there's one vertical where you'll definitely need intercom systems is, education campuses, in case you need to, relay a message through to everyone, or in case there's an emergency, you need to do a siren or anything like that. That is the solution for that. Okay, cool, guys. So now that we have, I just want to go back through to the chat group and make sure that I'm not missing anyone. Okay, cool, guys. So I'm looking at some questions. Shamir, I will answer your question at the end of our presentation. But yes, to everyone that's asking me for this presentation, I love the fact that you're asking me for the presentation. That's really awesome. Thank you very much. Calvin, I see your hand is raised. Just want to check if you put a question down. If you do have something that you want to say, guys, Calvin, can you maybe put it in the chat box, and then I'll make sure. Oh, the AP's AC. Yes, Calvin, they are AC, 802.11 AC. Yes, dual band as well, 2.4 and 5. So yeah, guys, sorry. I will send the presentation to everyone. Thank you to everyone who likes the presentation. I'm really happy about that. I worked really hard on it. So, okay, cool, guys. Now, let's look at the product roadmap. Where is Grandstream moving forward, and what have they been up to for the past 2 years? So we've done a little bit of a zoom out experience. We've looked at, okay, what is Grandstream currently offering in terms of their whole product portfolio, but now we're going to narrow down on what have they been releasing over the past year and a half. So Grandstream had their partner conference at the end of last year, and MiRO was able to attend, and this was very much in line with what they presented. So as you guys will know, everyone that's on this webinar with me, you're basically getting all of the information that the market is expecting to receive regarding Grandstream's development of their management software as well as their IP telephony range. So let's get straight into it. So as you guys know, this is a bit more of a recap of the timeline of connectivity. We're looking at Grandstream's IP phones. As you can see, they've always been aesthetically pleasing, especially the BT100. And then when we went to GXP 2000, it still was a very attractive phone. So now, where we're sitting, maybe month to date, as of 2016, we're looking at the 2170 and the expansion module. But what we wanted to introduce today was Grandstream's carrier grade IP phones. Now, what does carrier grade mean? Well, these phones have got the latest in video codecs, Opus, built into them. So if these devices are connecting through to a soft switch that is Opus compatible, like Broadsoft or Porta One, whichever soft switch you might be utilizing, you will have a very high performing audio experience with these devices. So what makes Grandstream's carrier grade IP phones different is that they have got a redesigned user interface, which we'll look at now. They have introduced alias-based configuration. They have a replaceable LCD cover for logo customization so that you as a business can put your own logos onto these phones. All of their devices have got integrated dual band 802.11 AC Wi-Fi. Now, what Grandstream has done in terms of solidifying their vision is that they've seen Wi-Fi for voice as a major opportunity for internet telephone service providers and installers of VoIP systems to really lower overheads, increase installation times, and to basically increase the amount of solutions that you can achieve because of the fact that you're not spending so much time installing. So what is Wi-Fi for voice? It's basically transmitting voice over wireless networking. And what does that include? Well, it includes having an IP phone that has got a built-in radio that can connect through to your Wi-Fi access point, which will then allow for frictionless and seamless audio transmission to be able to be sent from the IP phone all the way through to its designated destination. So I like to really explain this a bit further by giving you guys a bit more of an application. So let's just say you're an installer, you're an internet service provider, and you have an opportunity to install 40 new IP phones. Originally, what you need to procure is 40 sets of IP phones, 80 sets of connectors, 40 sets of variable cable length, and then of course a 48-port PoE switch. Now, basically with Wi-Fi for voice and with Wi-Fi IP phones, you basically install the phone, it connects through to your wireless access points, and you're done. There's no need to trunk, there's no long installation times, and there's no maintenance of the materials that are needed in order to, successfully install this communication solution. So guys, Wi-Fi for voice is extremely valuable. Okay, cool guys. I'm just looking back at all of the chat boxes here. Okay, cool. So I'm seeing a whole bunch of requests to share the presentation. I'm also seeing Ruben's asking me, will Grandstream develop firmware for the older IP phones? Yes. So Ruben, that's a very good question. So currently where Grandstream is in terms of their beta testing with GDMS is that it works with all of their GRP phones, but they will include the entire ecosystem, IP phones, UCMs, GDSs, conferencing devices, absolutely everything will be compatible with GDMS. But I'll speak about that a bit later when we start talking about the beta testing club. Okay, guys, let's proceed. So this is the range. As you guys can see, they have not reinvented the wheel. At the end of the day, we still have 2-line SIP phones. We have 6-line devices that can hold 12 accounts. We've got everything that you would expect from a telephony provider to have in terms of an IP phone range. But as you can see, these are what the IP phones look like. And guys, I have to say, maybe I'm a little biased, but I really like what they look like. They look slick. They look new. They look fresh. They're aesthetically pleasing to the eye. I would be very proud to have this phone on my desk. I actually do have a Grandstream phone on my desk. I've got a video phone, which I'm very proud to have, and it's all about making the working environment, suitable to what you as a consumer would want. And I would definitely want to have one of these phones on my desk. But as you can see, guys, this is the range. So if we're looking at the expansion board, so this is basically the equivalent of the 2140 and the 2170, and then the GXP2200-EXT, the expansion module. This is its equivalent. I like to say this is its big brother. Again, guys, you can connect up to 4 expansion boards on the 2615. You can have up to 160 programmable keys, helps you navigate through pages of MPKs, and it will help you speed dial via the MPKs. So this is the new device that we're putting on all of our receptionist desks. Okay, cool. So as we can see, the GRP has redesigned their guided user interface. So we will actually look at some comparisons between the older models and the newer models, and you guys will just see it's the difference between Android and iOS. No, I'm just joking. I'm just a Apple fan. Please don't hang me at the stake. But as you guys can see, we'll look into the comparisons, but there's been a huge increase in terms of quality on the user interface. So this is it. So this is GXP versus GRP. So the older versions, as you can see, were at the top. And, at the time and for however long we needed them, they provided adequate function. But look to the lower 3 screenshots, guys. That is basically where we're at. As you can see, it's all GUI orientated, application based software, and very easy to use, very easy to navigate. And again, very aesthetically pleasing. Again, it looks good, it operates well, and it gives your customer a very good experience once they put one of these phones down on their desk. Okay, so another cool, very important feature, and look, we'll touch on what makes GDMS so great, but what value it offers our existing GRP phones is that it offers unified firmware. So the nice thing about unified firmware is that if you have a multitude of different Grandstream IP phones all installed at different locations, they have one unified firmware that can basically be cascaded via GDMS through to all of the recipient IP phones. You can upgrade every single IP phone all at once, utilizing one firmware. So again, guys, just imagine in terms of the maintenance regarding that. So instead of Grandstream working on firmware for the 2615 and then for the 2612, now they just work on one firmware, so that if any of their customers, and they've done this before in the past, any of their customers come back and say to them, we're not happy with this firmware, there's a specific bug that doesn't allow me to do this, they normally fix that firmware, and then again, all you need to do is upgrade your firmware, and then all of your phones get that bug fixed. Cool. So if we look at carrier grade security, this is basically another huge defining feature that separates our newest Opus compatible phones with the industry. So they do offer MD5 and MD5 test authentication. It does support SRTP. Each device has a unique MAC-based certification for identification. The device boots up securely with software signature checks, and each device has a unique random password that you can allocate centrally via GDMS. And of course, having secure carrier-grade security prevents data leakage from unauthorized or malicious software. Cool, guys. This is just a physical hardware feature that they've introduced. So it has a background noise suppression, which means that if this device is inside a call center, it's going to help block out a bit of the background noise that is coming from all of the other, call center agents that are all screaming and shouting into their phones. This will just help you, the Grandstream user, get a much better audio experience on your side. So we're looking at integration with GDMS for large-scale deployment and management. So I know I've been speaking a lot about GDMS. This is what it looks like. As you guys can see, what's very cool about where we're sitting with GDMS is that you can currently download a beta version of it, and you can access it, test it with your existing Grandstream devices, and basically see if this is something that will work for you. But the main part of what makes GDMS so valuable, and this will apply to any internet service provider, is batch configuration, guys. So being able to deploy large amounts of IP phones, or not just IP phones, as you guys have seen with the portfolio, large batches of IP phones, Wi-Fi access points, video conferencing devices, access control devices, all managed centrally via GDMS, which just creates a much more effective and efficient management platform for you, the Grandstream user. Cool, just another hardware feature, a replaceable LCD cover for logo customizations. Very, very cool. I just wanted to touch very briefly on their video smartphone. So this is their high-end smartphone. Like I said, guys, all of their new carrier-grade phones have got built-in Opus codec. But as you can see, this device is slightly more high-end as it offers more of a smart video type of features. It's powered by Android 7.0, features a 5-inch touchscreen. It does offer 802.11a, b, g, and n. It's 2.4 and 5 gigabits dual band Wi-Fi, and it has got the capability of Bluetooth. So if we just compare the old video phones to the new video phones, I mean, I won't say much, but you guys can clearly see what is the difference in terms of look, feel, everything regarding the difference between these two devices. That's not to say that the 3240 is on its way out. The 3240 will be around for as long as someone wants to utilize it. But as soon as they see the GXP 3350, they're going to think to themselves, well, I want that. You know, and that's why we're doing this webinar. And that's why we are still maintaining our interactions with the Grandstream base, because you guys need to know what are the new products that are currently out there, because there are some defining, value-adding IP phones that are currently being released that your customers are really going to be excited for. So we can look at the differences between these two devices. Just some advantages between the two. So the GXP offers higher performance, it's got stronger processing speeds, for more storage, higher resolution, supports more lines for more calls, but a higher data transfer speed. It does support 5 gigahertz. It's got better interactive, and it's got an upgraded user experience. So again, guys, we're not saying that, you know, one is replacing the other. We're kind of just saying that if you look at spec for spec, one is better than the other. But at the end of the day, we've got both. So it's not like you're going to have to change everything right now, but it's very good to know that there are more options available to you, the Grandstream consumer. Okay, cool, guys. So if we just look at the back of the device, so we're looking at dual switch gigabit ports. We're looking at PoE ports that have got integrated PoE Plus capabilities. Obviously, there's an RJ9 headset jack that supports EHS. HDMI port. The very cool thing about that HDMI port, guys, is that once we start speaking about video conferencing, is that your high-end executives can have one of these phones onto their desk, and basically they can run an HDMI cable straight into their PC or straight into their screen, whatever device that they're currently operating, even their projector, and they can basically do their video conferencing from their desk on a huge screen, and it's very easy, just like that. And this device is also compatible for the expansion modules to be able to utilize this, not just in an executive setting, but as well in a reception-based environment. Cool, guys. I think we've already spoken about the expansion board. I like just going through slides over and over again. No, I'm joking. We will move past this quite swiftly. So yeah, if we look at the different features, guys, the difference between 3-way and 6-way, it's just double. You can now host more video conferencing participants onto your device than onto the previous options. Again, that's just better because it offers users that have got larger requirements more availability in options and in choice. We do not want to lose out on any opportunities because Grandstream doesn't match up to a specific, you know, operational request or anything like that. Okay, cool. So dual stream video calling. Again, this allows for the device to not just stream video calls, allows for you to share your presentation as well, which means that you can have a video call with someone and you can share your screen with them, which is, again, guys, hugely valuable because that's currently what I'm doing with all of you. I'm basically going through my presentation It's weird. It's kind of weird, but I'm enjoying it. I hope everyone else at home's enjoying it. Normally when I do these events, I get a lot more nervous and a little bit more sweaty, but just because everyone's in a room and everyone's looking at me, I feel a bit more relaxed now, but I do have a tendency to ramble on. So I do apologize if I'm doing that. I just really love Grandstream and I really love doing events. So just another thing about the hardware side of it, it does offer some very clear and high fidelity sounds. Noise shield, we've spoken about that before. Again, that's basically the difference in the conferencing. You can set it up onto your screen, which is really nice. This is the GUI configuration tool. So this just allows for you, the user of the GXP3350, to basically customize your user interface, make it more appropriate for yourself. And again, guys, this is good for you to know, because you're going to be selling Grandstream products to your customers. As long as your customers know that they can make changes, so they can love the aesthetic design of the phone and they can be really impressed with the audio quality. But if it's hard to navigate and hard to use, just say to them, hey, let's customize it. Let's make it easier for you to use. And again, that just allows for you to offer better services to your customers. Okay, cool. So obviously it does do SDK and API support, does help customize phone applications, call control, personalized screen theme, helps you manage the device, helps you customize SMS applications, and you can obviously pull through all of your contacts, call history, and other call-related applications. All right, guys, let's look at GDMS. So I'm just going to quickly go back to the chat, see if there's anything here I need to talk about. Shannon, I do see your question. You've said, hi, please send me the presentation. You said, is it premise-based? What specifically are you talking about? Are you talking about GWM Cloud? That's the Wi-Fi management platform. And if that is what you're asking, then yes, it is premise-based. Or if you're asking about GDMS, GDMS is cloud-based. I'm looking at Abdul. Can the Wi-Fi enabled device provide network to another device through an RJ45 cable as the older one did? Yes, it will be able to do that, Abdul. That feature is still very much going strong. All right. Cool. Shannon, I hope I answered your question there. Let's just go back to GDMS. So just a brief little overview. It provides a centralized interface for enterprises, channel partners, and multi-site businesses to monitor, manage, and provision large-scale deployments of Grandstream devices. Because at the end of the day, guys, the magic is in the management. How easy you can manage, how quickly you can do supporting functions like firmware upgrades, and how efficiently can you manage and maintain your systems. That's basically what defines a management software. So if we just look at the product overview regarding GDMS, it offers powerful API and local deployments. So you can quickly integrate the management of these devices into any system. It can be deployed locally. It offers you the ability to monitor real-time accounts. That's dependent on status, call status, quality. It allows you to receive alert notifications upon detecting abnormalities in your device status. So again, you as the service provider will get a notification, an alert that says, hey, listen, this IP phone or this camera or this conferencing device is displaying abnormal status. Check it out. And then obviously through GDMS, you can log into that specific device, run your troubleshoot, do an intelligent diagnostic run a one-click debug. Helps you to collect system logs, helps you catch a network, and allows for you to do trace routes. Again, allows you to analyze your diagnostics so that you know exactly what's wrong with that specific phone and why it's delivering an abnormal device status. If we look at the public cloud service, it doesn't require any setup, can be accessible from anywhere. And I think that's what's most important about management platforms in the cloud, guys, is that you can set up regional applications. You can have, a system of 4 phones, 2 conferencing devices, a door phone in Limpopo. You can have another solution in the Western Cape and the Eastern Cape. All of this can be managed essentially by the cloud. So you don't have to be any specific way. So again, if you're the technician, if you're the holder of the system, you can access everything and you can just keep checks and make sure everything's up and running. Again, guys, if something happens like an alert or the phone system goes down, you'll get sent a notification. All you need to do is open your laptop, log into GDMS, run your diagnostic, find out what's wrong, and fix it long before the customer has anything or knows anything about that fault. Because again, if you can fix the fault before the customer's aware of it, it didn't happen. So if we're looking at unified deployment and management, again, guys, what's worse than going into a call center and installing 200 phones manually, configuring each one, loading IP addresses? You know, no one needs to work like that anymore. It's almost like if you're a surveillance installer and you're still trenching and you've got line of sight, why aren't you doing a wireless connection? Why aren't you putting up a base station? These are technology advancements that are created to provide more value to you, the service provider, and of course to help make sure that you can do more work, because again, you now reduce the amount of time that you need to install, allows for you to do more installations, get more customers, expand your business, do more, earn more. Last thing I just wanted to touch on regarding unified deployment and management is the scheduling of tasks. So nothing's worse than doing a software update at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. Nothing will upset your flow any more than that. Being able to schedule a task means that you can do a unified firmware upgrade to all of your devices at 12 o'clock, between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock, however long it takes, and no one will be the wiser. No one's going to have any downtime. No one's going to lose their capabilities of phoning or communicating with each other. But at the end of the day, by the time that they walk into the office the next time, they'll be able to utilize their systems at the version that they are supposed to be. So again, if we just look at this almost organogram type of features, you'll look at GDMS as being the parent of all this, and just you can manage sites and groups, divide devices into multiple sites, and divide sites into multiple groups. You can do firmware management, you can schedule tasks, and you can do multi-privilege management. So again, this is very nice because it allows for you to segment your credentials based off of who's utilizing GDMS. So again, you as the owner of the system can get the main credential-based login for that system, and then you can designate permissions to other supporting roles within your organization. Okay, cool. So batch configuration, devising through the SIP accounts. It allows for you to import SIP accounts from various platforms, allows for you to configure these batches with Excel files, allows for you to monitor your devices in real time, and again, allows for the registration of accounts to be displayed in the system. So again, this just helps with the development of your service offering through to all of your Grandstream devices. Okay, cool, guys. So again, another cool feature that GDMS offers is that allows for you to, again, divide your different groups into, or your different sites into different groups. So you can have MiRO Gauteng, but then you can divide MiRO Gauteng into guest portal, marketing, office users management, and you can basically put all your devices into these specific different segments. It just allows for a bit more of an easier management platform for yourself. Cool, guys. I know I'm going on about the real-time monitoring and analysis, but again, this is what it looks like. So I would motivate everyone that's on this webinar to download or to just access GDMS beta and to just play around with it. And again, guys, if you have any questions, we are always here to help. But at the end of the day, you guys have got the networks to be able to test these devices. We are the importers. We bring in the products. We release the commercial updates. But at the end of the day, we need you guys to really test through the system, which brings me on to Grandstream's beta program. So Grandstream's beta program is extremely valuable for all dedicated and loyal Grandstream customers. The nice thing about Grandstream's beta club is that they always release new products to us first. Now, what I like about that is it kind of gives us a feeling of speciality and of uniqueness, because no one else in the market has got access through to these platforms. So they did it with their Wi-Fi phone, they did it with their GWN platform, they're doing it now with GDMS. And what it means is that you have an opportunity to form part of the development behind these products, guys, because again, Grandstream sits there in their laboratories, they develop what they believe is a robust end-to-end system, but then when they release it into the market, there are kinks that need to be worked out. You know, that's the whole point of trial and error, is that you learn as you go along, and the more that you guys participate and join in on the testing, the better product that will be released. Because if we can work out the system bugs and do all of that before the product gets released, that means that, you know, as soon as this product lands, you can go to MiRO, you can purchase it, and you can start rolling out in mass numbers. Again, so we're just looking at device diagnostics. So the whole point of GDMS in terms of its diagnostic analysis is that it helps you to find out where your faults or your abnormalities, such as account registration, occur. And also it allows for alerts or notifications to be sent through to the holder of the system. So it also offers multiple diagnostic tools. So
Hi guys, sorry, I've just had to move over my microphone. What I really enjoy about this is that I know that you guys are listening. So thanks very much for that. I just lost some audio in my AirPods, so now I think their battery has just died. So, you know, I love looking at this chat box and saying everyone's lost audio. It just means that, you know, everyone is listening to me. So thanks guys, I really appreciate that. So if everyone's back, let's just go back through to the presentation. And now we are looking at GXP 2100. So we're looking at what range of Grandstream devices are currently compatible with GDMS. They are the 2100 series. It's the new GRP phones. It's the GXV 3300 series. It's the GVC 3210. It's the Wi-Fi phone. It's the DECT devices. And of course, the ATAs, which, as we spoke about in the beginning of the presentation, are the analog telephone adapters. So where are we going with the development of GDMS? Well, I tell you what, guys, what's coming soon is that everything is going to be included. And what else is everything? That's all of the entry-level phones. So the nice thing about that, guys, is that if you have existing Grandstream products out in the field, you will be able to manage them all from GDMS once the compatibility has been worked out and it's been released, which is hugely valuable. So we're not saying to you that, okay, only all new purchases of Grandstream are going to have GDMS capability. We're saying that all of your current Grandstream systems are going to be able to benefit from GDMS, which is just awesome. So I just want to... Okay, so let's look at a bit of a product roadmap going into the next 6 months. So we've obviously spoken about where Grandstream falls within the unified communications environment. We've spoken about their new series of GRP carrier-grade phones, and we've spoken about their new cloud-based management software, GDMS. Now, let's just look at some of the new products they're going to be releasing. So we have got their enterprise 6-line gigabit GRP phone. We've got their 2615, which is a 5-line device with integrated Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And as you guys will all see, these are all the timeline here, because we actually got this information from Grandstream after their conferencing, their partner conference, which was at the end of 2019. So all of these products were just being released into the market. So the very cool thing about this, guys, is that we have all of this in stock right now. So you can basically get a hold of us. I just wanted to let everyone know that MiRO is still operational in terms of our call center. So all of our sales guys are currently at home, diligently waiting for you to pick up the phone and contact them about Grandstream's new IP phones. And they're waiting there to tell you absolutely everything that you need to know regarding these phones. They're there to tell you how much stock we have. And, you know, guys, once lockdown has subsided and you really want to just get a good head start on, the reintegration of work, I recommend spending a little bit of time engaging with me, because like I said, guys, I'm here for the next 15 days, engaging with me, engaging with our sales team and saying, listen, I really like what Grandstream's doing with these phones. I really want to know more about their door phones and how their conferencing system works. And, guys, sometimes I get put into a bit of a catch-22 where, I've been promoting video conferencing for 3 years, as long as I've been a Grandstream product manager. And it's only been for the past 3 weeks that people have seriously identified video conferencing as a major collaboration tool that will help businesses stay up to date with one another. And, I was just grateful to be in the right place at the right time. And we've now helped a JSC listed company, Hideko, install a Grandstream IP Video Talk server. And now they're connecting 30 of their subsidiary businesses, of which MiRO is one of them. And they're still hosting their management meetings, guys. It's really cool. Sometimes I spy on them. Don't tell them, though. I sometimes just go into the meeting and I want to know what these folks are talking about. But they're going through that normal management stuff. Everything that you would do on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, they are still doing. So just remember that, guys. When you come back, it's not as if everything's going to be normal. I don't think everything's going to be normal again. But as long as we know what type of solutions and what tactics we need to deploy, we'll be better positioned to really take advantage of us getting back to work and getting companies up and running, so that, if this thing persists, we will still be able to talk with each other and still be able to communicate, and businesses will hopefully still be able to survive. It's going to be a very tough next few months, but the businesses that stay strategically ahead and that utilize these 21 days are the ones that are going to make it. So there's my little inspirational talk for everyone. I'll save one more for the end. Cool, that's just the expansion module we've really looked at. That is one of the new Wi-Fi enabled IP phones. We do have an existing one. It's called the WP820. As I said, guys, it's a very, very cool device. Connects through on 802.11 AC, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. This is one of the newer products that are being released in the same category. It's based off of a Linux operating system. Has a 6-hour talk time, which means that this thing can be out of the cradle for at least half of the working day, which is hugely valuable. And then, so cloud-based Grandstream's official launch was in November, so currently it is operational. When we look at an on-premise based Wi-Fi software controller that will be able to manage up to 2,500 Grandstream access points, it kind of shows that Grandstream is ready to enter into enterprise Wi-Fi. And again, guys, I'm not being biased when I say this. I'm being factual. Grandstream's Wi-Fi, in terms of MiRO's portfolio, is the lowest cost, highest spec AP amongst all of our alternatives, as I'll call them. I won't call them competitors because we come from the same home, but we'll call them alternatives. So really, guys, I just want to motivate everyone on this participants list. If you've engaged with us this far, I mean, guys, we've been on this webinar for about an hour and a half. It's awesome. I really appreciate everyone sticking through with it. But there's a reason why you're here. You're looking to get more knowledge on unified communications. You're looking at what is Grandstream doing that's different. And I really hope that I've been able to articulate what has made Grandstream so valuable to the MiRO portfolio. MiRO and Grandstream have been working together since 2004. It's a 16-year-old relationship, guys. And at the end of the day, it's probably going to grow further than that because Grandstream offers MiRO what we needed to offer, which is a full end-to-end unified communications hardware provider that does integrate software internally. And the platform that we're using now is very similar to Zoom. It's very similar to WebEx. It's very similar to Skype, except Skype has died out. So just a fact for everyone. Skype's owned by Microsoft, and Skype is being cannibalized by Microsoft's own Teams. So we probably won't see Skype in a business platform for very much longer. We'll start seeing Zoom and WebEx and all of that start coming into play. But where I'm kind of going with this, guys, is that Grandstream offers hardware. These are software platforms. So you can utilize our conferencing devices on a Zoom platform because they're Android-based. So you can utilize our hardware, so our video camera, our audio device, and you can still run Zoom on it. But as you guys will see, this is IP Video Talk. We've had over 60 participants on this cloud-based software. It's gone very smoothly, I hope. And I'm very impressed with Grandstream, but I am biased. So let's just come to the end of our presentation because I'll let everyone go back to their Wednesday afternoon. But these are our new Wi-Fi networking devices that are coming out. So as I was saying, guys, Grandstream does not, mess around when it comes to their products. They create products that are designed for a specific function. And as you can see here, we have an outdoor access point and we have an indoor access point. And basically that's what they look like. And they're just going to be more impressive because at the end of the day, where we see Wi-Fi going to is more the bandwidth that the device allows. So how many concurrent devices can be connecting through to it? Does it offer 4x4 MU MIMO? These are all things that Grandstream has identified and is currently working on developing. So watch out for our access point, guys. And again, if you are still unsure, buy one, test one, check it out. You've got 7 days, return it if you're not happy, but keep it if you are happy, and then utilize it as a case study because the best thing about that device, guys, it's got an onboard management controller, which means that you don't need to buy any third-party cloud key that you have to put in to manage the device. You basically use one device and you can manage your entire ecosystem through that IP and through that GUI. Cool. So this is something that I haven't seen yet. I'm very, very excited for this specific intercom system. So as you can see, this is a touch-based intercom system. So this is something that you put on the outside of your establishment or your gated community or your business or anything like that. And it basically just allows for you to contact all of your intercom devices, being your speaker phones, being your door phones, being your intercoms, anything that you want to control from a unified platform, you can do through this specific intercom. So some features for you. It's based off of Linux, it's got a 7-inch touchscreen, it's PoE compatible, and it does come in with built-in Wi-Fi. Okay, cool, guys. So from the release of the Grandstream Partner Conference in September 2019, these are all the new products that have been released over the past 6 months. And apart from the Wi-Fi access points and intercom systems, we currently have access to all of these products. So please get in contact with our pre-sales team. They're sitting at home not doing anything. Phone them, bug them, say, hey, listen, I want to create massive value for my customers. I want to increase the amount of revenue that I can pull from customers. How can I do that utilizing Grandstream? These guys will be so quick to tell you what's happening that you'll be extremely impressed because it's so easy. Apart from understanding how easily Grandstream interacts with the rest of the ecosystem, just to know what products are available is, again, hugely valuable. So as we come through to the end of the presentation, again, guys, I know I've been a big ball of gratitude. I just want to say thank you all very, very much for joining me for this hour and a half. It's been an absolute pleasure. I was slightly nervous beforehand because I thought that no one would pitch up. But over 60 people pitched up, and I'm so chuffed. I'm very happy, and I will send back some positive feedback through to my management team. And hopefully what we'll do is we'll do more of these events, guys, and we'll host more product-related releases, commercial presentations that basically just keep you up to scratch with all of what's happening inside your specific brand that you might be purchasing from us. I am going to open up the chat box. I can see it's already going crazy. I'm going to open up the forum now to the chat boxes. So if anyone can put down some comments in the chat boxes, how you found the webinar, how you found me as a presenter, please don't be too brutally honest. I'm very sensitive as a person, so I do take things very personally, so please be nice. But apart from that, guys, let me know how the presentation went. Please put down any of your questions. Let's answer them together. I'm going to be here for the next 20 minutes answering all these questions. We will send some notifications to you guys. I'll send through the presentation just so that you have got it all. Lastly, guys, my name is Ryan. My email address is ryand@miro.co.za if you want to get a hold of me. So that's RYAND for danger @miro.co.za. Thank you, guys.